Okay, now the topic today is about entrepreneurship. I mentioned about my university. Actually, I mentioned that we are Cap 300 program. I am one of the judge panel in the seed round, angel round for the different startup. I mainly focus on the fintech and business tech. Right. So that's why today later I can share with you more about this program and how we can attract a lot of government support, VC support, and also in addition to Hong Kong, we also partner with some Malaysian university, and also probably later we will come to Vietnam, partner with Vietnam University of Hà Nội, and also we have got a support from Shenzhen government and also Hangzhou government. So that means that they also want to nurture a lot of tech-related experts to support their business growth. Okay, now we have two gentlemen. You may share with the audience about what sorts of entrepreneurship experience you have.
I myself, I'm an entrepreneur. I came to Vietnam about 12 years ago, and then originally from Hong Kong. And I have done many businesses, or trying to do businesses here in many sectors. So in a way, I can share some, I guess, entrepreneurship experience. So I have done things in education, I have done things in event management organizing, as well as recently then I've been doing financial consulting in the area of private credit. Of course, just like many other entrepreneurs, I face different type of challenges, and but I may not be the best one to talk about this topic in terms of as experience as the next speaker next to me, Yang, and because he's running something called the Founders Institute, and as he said, he nurtures and he acts as accelerator to help many startup companies. I guess I can talk something about from the point of view as an entrepreneur myself.
I studied in France, came back a long time ago, since 2006. So why I came back? Because at that moment, I was, I was a co-founder of Alpha Books, one of the top 3 private publisher now in Vietnam, but already exited since 2014, so 11 years already. So that is one of my first exit. Can say that, but at that moment we didn't know much about venture capital, So after coming back, I was very deep in education because together with Alpha Books, who published a lot of educational books, I was the co-founders of one bilingual school in Hanoi. We have some students from kindergarten to high school. And I was the CEO of the school, So I managed it directly within about 11 years. I exited since 2016, 16. So after exiting, I started to invest, because at that moment, 2016 is the years of the first Tech Fest in Vietnam. So our startup ecosystem can say that started since about 2015, 2016. Before that, we got some VC, but most of the entrepreneurs, most of the founders, we didn't know about venture capital, and we don't know how to raise a fund, etc. So at that moment, because we was considered as the ecosystem builder, so we were sent to some countries, neighbor countries like Malaysia, Singapore, to talk to the other ecosystem builders in those countries, learn from them, came back and try to build up the ecosystem and also try to invest in, and lost a lot, lost most of the money that we exited. So we started to join the tech ecosystem also since then until now. So besides education, I was very deep in tech. I used to sit in a BOD of one outsourcing company, which is also the top 10 outsourcing, which is VTI. So if you know about outsourcing industry in Vietnam, you know FPT or HCMC. VTI is one of them. We was also the advanced partner of AWS, Amazon Web Service. So I was also very deep in cloud. And now, after starting to run the Founder Institute in Vietnam, we also invested in some AI company and try to help them to go global. So we think that this year 2025 is a very great year as a Vietnam, not just only for the government, for the people, but also for the startup. So I hope that I will share more, within this session. Thank you.
No, I would like to share one entrepreneurship story of my colleagues. It is a professor from the material science of our university. This professor actually observed, he actually built some paint, white paint. You can paint on the wall, on the wall top. And then this paint will help the building to cool down the temperature by 20 degrees C. Now we do his customer praise about it. They sell quite a lot of this paint. But how can he develop? He observed some insect in the desert. This insect actually move freely in the desert. Desert is very hot, 60 degrees C. But so this insect still move very freely. And then this professor trying to observe the back of this insect, and then identify the texture. And then he found that the texture actually has some cooling mechanism that help the insect to move and then survive in such a hot weather. And then he published this paper in a very famous science journal, Nature. So you come from science engineering background, you know Nature is a top journal in the whole world for science, right? At the same time, he built up a company. All his PhD students actually become the key member of this company. This professor remained to be a professor of the university, but one of the PhD graduates becomes the CEO of this company, trying to promote and marketing. A lot of shares are still owned by the professor, but all other PhD graduates have some share. And now they develop the white paint to paint the wall, and now they are also building some ceramic. So because ceramic tend to be more long-lasting, you put a wall maybe last for 500 years, like what the Portuguese did, right? So you put it there, and then it will save you a lot of energy. And then later, they also tell me that they're going to have a business plan to build some umbrella which with this type of that is paint on the top, so that when you carry the umbrella, you can cool down a little bit. Right? So this is a business that they are working on. They do a lot of roadshow. They are actually helping so many buildings in Hong Kong to paint the white paint and then help them to cool down the temperature. It is a way to reduce the energy consumption. It is a way to actually make the people living in a better way. So that is a business model there. So for this reason, now the university actually encouraged all the professors to think about not simply just publish the research, think about how to commercialize the research. So another reality for the PhD program today is we found that in the United States, only 15% PhD graduates eventually get a position in university as a professor. So the remaining actually cannot easily get because they're very competitive. So that's why when you train PhD graduates to do research, we need to think about how to give them other skills so that they can convert the invention spirit, innovation spirit to become some commercial product, so that they can develop one product and then later develop another product so they can support a different business entity. So this program I mentioned about Tech 300, we open to the all community. In case you want to come to Hong Kong, want to partner with us, we are welcome. Right? Because as long as you use our patent or intellectual property, you are welcome to, we can share a little bit, and then you can use it to develop business. For all the professor, alumni, and also students, they are welcome to participate in this program. So the participation is very simple. They make a 10-minute presentation in front of around 8 judges. Some 2 or 3 are professors, and then other maybe Big 4 partners, other VC director. Right? So sit in front of them, and then they make a 10-minute presentation. In case the project is interesting, the initial investment is small amount, $30,000 US. $30,000 US. So within 6 months, we can go to the angel round. Angel round is $120,000 US. 120,000. So after they got angel round, probably university will get around 10% share in this company. And within 3 years, this startup need to get the real money from VC, at least $500,000 US. Right? So so we have a 100 over 850 startup established. Over 150 company actually eventually get the angel fund. That is 120,000. Right? Some of them already get the investment by the VC. So that's why now many universities try to copy our model, because it's welcomed by the government and also help the student to get some better future. So I myself work in the investment bank when I was young. So in the past, when you want to get rich, go to the investment bank. But today, you need to be an entrepreneur, because there's so many VC funds to support a lot of startups and help them to grow. Right? Okay, gentlemen, you can share some story. Experience.
I think instead of me sharing stories, I would like to understand from the audience point of view, how many of you are entrepreneurs, and or what are the main purpose you coming to this event? What do you expect? I think that would be more interesting than just talking about myself. Can anyone? I've met some of you. I know some are bankers, some are lawyers, and some are in retail consulting business, and even we have invested there. Any one of you who are actually entrepreneur, looking for something from this event, whether it's hopefully some secret formula, or maybe hopefully meet some potential connections, investor, or what? Do you have any specific purpose or objective in mind?
You are welcome to ask any question, right?
I think let me tell a story.
Yeah, sure.
Because today the subject is startup, and I work every day with startups. You know, I'm also still starting a lot of more companies. You know, so why I said that this year is very important, and this year is great years of entrepreneurs and startup founders, because before the entrepreneurs, the big problems. First thing, no money, no investment, right? But that is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that they don't have to raise a fund. And even they never ever, try to raise a fund. That's the point. So money is out there, but they don't try to reach it. They don't know how to reach it. Another thing is that most of the startup, they haven't got yet the transparent culture. That's the point. So within the first and even the third years, they run a business as a family, right? Or even as a class, So they don't go through any flow, any processes. So when the business is successful, they grow. They got a problem, a lot of problem with the tax, and at that moment, when they're trying to raise a fund, the investor cannot invest in, because they haven't been transparent enough. That's what. Last week we have a session about a data room. So maybe it will surprise you. Most of the startups who join our accelerators, they don't know much about data room. They even haven't got a data room to share to the investors. So when the investor asks them, they just started to learn about what is data room. and try to start to prepare for it. So it means that they will lose, 3, 6, even 9 months to have a good enough data room to show to the investors. So it means that they lost a year. So a year means they will lose the whole game. So this year, everything is changing. Firstly, nobody can be untransparent because now everything is connected. The police now, they have the power already, so you need to be transparent and you don't have any other choice. That is the first thing which is good for people who start this year. Second thing, there are more accelerators. I mean the international accelerators, international, not regional, but from further countries to come and to try to help the startups. So it means that more money is coming. I have a lot of startups, to work with mentors who are venture capitalists every day. And every week we have at least one session to let the founders to talk to the venture capitalists. So they are, become, braver, more encouraged to talk to the venture capitalists, to understand more about VC. So not like us before, we didn't know anything about venture capitalists. We didn't know anything about fundraising, but now they know about it. So after 3 months, they came from a person who never ever asked for money to become a people who can directly go to the venture capital to ask for money, just after 3 months. So we think that everything is changing fast. So what is more is that that the Vietnamese government is trying to upgrade the stock market, right? So we hope that after 4 to 5 years, the stock market will be upgraded to emerging market. So it will be also, a suitable life cycle of a startup who started this year. After 4 to 5 years, they come to a maybe middle size, enterprise, or even bigger enterprise and go IPO. So they are transparent from the beginning to the moment that they go IPO. So I think that is a very good chance. And now we are trying to explain, a lot to the startup founders. What is IPO? That's the point. So from the beginning, they think about how to grow. They also have to think about how to help the investor to exit. That's the point. That's why we try to ask venture capital, venture capitalists to come to talk to the founders, to let them understand more about how a VC runs. Because if they don't know the vision of a VC, surely, they just think that VC just want to invest in. But VC is not an entrepreneur, right? As you just said, VC, they have only 3 to 5 years, right? To exit from the startup. So startup need to understand that. And if they want to be backed by VC, they cannot be slow, right? They need to be accelerated. That's the point. One more thing is that everybody now is feel that the government is very, very aggressive, right, for the technology. It is real, because one of our AI company is a supplier to some governmental project, and we don't have time. All the officers said to us that we don't have time. We have money but no time, so please do anything that you can. That's also something that I can share with you. So governmental projects now is very important to start up ecosystem. Yeah.
Now, because it just mentioned about the VC, I just want to share with you the experience of a VC manager. We have in the EMBA program, we have one module, the VC PE investing. We invite a lot of successful VC company manager coming to Hong Kong. They will be stationed in Shanghai, stationed in Silicon Valley, come to Hong Kong to share some real story. There's a story which is, I think, is quite interesting. This VC manager actually, because usually we see the partner is himself need to invest a little bit, right? And also the investor, that is also invest in the VC fund. The fund will also invest. So this VC manager actually invests heavily in one company called Sun Vision technology company. Today, we are using the product. Because Sunny Vision actually is making the lens of all the smartphones, including Samsung, iPhone, all this. So the market value is around 25 billion US dollar today. 25 billion US dollar today. So this guy actually, this risk manager actually is mainly Chinese. So he later got a degree in University of Chicago, and then stationed in United States. And then one day, one year, he came back to Hangzhou. Hangzhou, I think today become very famous. DeepSeek is come from Hangzhou. Come from Hangzhou, he found that somebody recommend him to look at one company formed by 6 Chiang University graduates. Chiang University is the most famous university in Hangzhou. These 6 young kids actually making the lens. And then this gentleman see a lot of prospect because the lens can help other smartphones to build better quality of that is a camera. But these several young kids do not want the investment because they have a lot of cash. The product actually is quite well adopted in mainland China. So, but later, this gentleman convinced these 6 gentlemen, okay, I can help your company to become a global company. Okay, finally, this 6 young graduate actually sell some share to this VC manager as well as to the fund he managed. And then this VC manager bring in a lot of experts from Japanese Olympus camera company to sit in that company and then tune the quality of the lens so that it make the mainland China lens become the top quality Japanese quality camera. So that make this company suddenly become very well known. As a result, all the famous cell phone company adopt this product. Right? So the role of VC actually, of course, VC definitely are greedy. You would just propose something. You want to open a restaurant, they will not be interested. They want something big. They want something which can grow fast, right? So they want something that can catch the current trend. So you can make up some story with your product or with your business. Probably you can easily attract the eyeball, attract the attention of this VC community. But at the same time, we see some VC actually have very good connection. They can help you to grow your business in your global market, not simply just in the domestic market. So when you look for VC, try to look at the background to see what they have invested before, and then try to pick up something which can help the company to grow. I know that some VC actually is not very helpful. They invest and then request a lot. Finally, the company cannot grow, and then a lot of resources simply channel from the company to the VC itself without really make the company to getting bigger and bigger. So when you select VC, try to be careful. Look at those companies with better reputation, right? Not simply just look at the money.
Well, having heard a lot about what Professor Michael as well as Yang share about all these experiences and stories, I want to say a little bit about from the point of view of entrepreneur, particularly let's say I'm not in the field of AI, IT, and that kind of stuff, even maybe more traditional business and so on. Sometimes what I think is that business owners or entrepreneurs, in case they are in those fields, sometimes they might feel that they are basically having less opportunity to find VC or that type of funds or whatever investor that will be interested in them, and then how do they go about finding possible channels and ways of finding possible investors and so on. Just now, even outside, when I was chatting with another committee member, Minh, so she also reminded me that before I used to share with her or even share another event, that there is a platform which I find quite useful. I just want to share a little bit about it. And it's basically a company that focusing on offering the service to help business owners and entrepreneurs. Like Yang said, many of them, they don't have much experience in how to approach fundraising, how to prepare, let's say, whatever presentation or even. So I find that is one very good way because first of all, you can join the platform for free in the beginning, and then so they have an online platform, but as well as they organize physical roadshow capital raising event. So in case you join, they organize around different cities, from Australia to Singapore to Hong Kong, London. In fact, this coming Sunday, I'm flying to Singapore to join their event on Monday because I know the founder and I follow the company for quite some years, and then I quite like what they are doing as a business owner, entrepreneur. Sometimes even I want to widen my network. Just like joining Asian CEO community is a very good way, but are there also other platforms or ways that you can join? I find it quite useful, which later on I would share, and you guys, if you're interested, you can welcome to take a look, because on there, they don't just focus on helping necessarily a company in AI, but you will also see that there are companies there that are trying to meet investor or look for funding. They could be coming from manufacturing. They could also be basically many different, even agriculture, even like traditional business, as well as new sectors of industry, and from small as well as to big. They also have in there property investment fund. They also have even private credit fund over there, also trying to basically assess more investor type. So I personally find that it's a good way to, and they have a lot of resources there that you already can access for free, and even see other companies, how they prepare themselves to present to investor, which also you can take as reference and learn from them. And so I just want to quickly share about that. That's another way that I, at least for myself, I find it quite useful.
Trinh, do you have anything you want to supplement?
Actually, there are a lot of things to share about founders. One more thing that I also want to share is that even they know how to raise a fund, the point is they also need to understand that the VC, the venture capitalist, what they want to listen, they want to hear from the founders. So it is not just the product is market fit, it's not enough, right? Because actually VC, they need to multiply the investment. So what they really want to hear from the founders is how the startup can scale. That's the point. The scalability and the scaling strategy is very much important, even more important than the product. Because even the product is good enough, but the founders, they don't know how to scale. So the VC, they will not be willing to invest. That's the point. So that's why the founders, they need to join, or they need to have mentorship. They need to have experienced mentors, and especially they need to have mentorship from the venture capitalists, because they need to listen to, and to hear from them. And if they are not be able to scale, so they should understand that they should not be trying to get the VC, right? Because it's hopeless. That's the point. The other thing is that not just scalability, but now a lot of venture capitalists are trying to ask how the model can scale automatically, auto-scale. So that is something that we also trying to help the founders within our programs. So this is not just grow, you need to scale, you need to auto-scale. So you need to keep your model, to be automated, to be able to auto-scale. That's something that I need to share. And I think about 30% of the founders who have already joined us can see the way, can see the way. If not, surely they cannot go to the VC, even the product is good enough. Globally, in Fund Institute, we have 35,000 mentors, all over the world. And what we can give to the founders is that when they graduate from the program, after 3 months, they will have the account, activated to have access to all of the mentors globally. So they need to also learn how to take benefits from that. If not, they just give it away. That's the point. And can say after 3 months, why I say that the program is important. The 3-month program is just a filter that we're trying to select the suitable startup founders to join the global network of Fund Institute. And after that, they will have a lot of other program, to be changed by the headquarters from USA, from Silicon Valley, to help them to fundraise globally, not only in the region, but also in Western countries like Canada and USA, and also Europe. And also trying to reach the mentors, in other countries to be able to globally expand. That's something I can share. About the government, again, now we work closely to some government officers from NIC, National Innovation Centers, and we feel that, now they are very close to the startup ecosystem. They feel, they live, they work with them every day. But the point is, they don't have enough people. The short of the staffs. That's why they need the ecosystem builder like us, to join with them. They have facilities, that in Hanoi, the National Innovation Centers have just released a new campus, very big campus, just in the neighborhood of Hanoi. It takes you only 25 minutes to 30 minutes, right, to go there. Big event venue, etc. But they are still trying, to think and to discuss with the ecosystem how to use it effectively. That's the point. So I hope that not only the startup ecosystem builders, but also the entrepreneurs should also know about that and to join on the activities. Yeah, please.
Yeah, gentlemen. Yeah.
I just wanted to add on to what Giang said. If I separate VC to one side of the room and let's go look at the people who are these startup companies. I shared this with Giang, what I saw, let's say Vietnam. People who start up a company, they cook up a product which they think is what is fantastic, great, but they don't understand what the market really wants. Okay, so so-called CEOs or co-founders mostly are techos, nerds. They're not business leaders. Okay, so they don't develop growth strategies, business plans, future projections of where they are, where they're going to go. It's all about technical about that product. If I'm a VC, and I worked in the tech industry for 42 years across a lot of tech, and when I talk to VCs, and if I was a VC, I'd focus on growth plan strategy. I look at the people who are the team members of that startup and look at their backgrounds, because at the end of the day, I want equity stake and I put in 20%, 25%, 5 mil, 10 mil. I want that AIR in 2, 3, 4 years. I don't want a loss. So, the key point, the key factor is Everybody wants to be a unicorn, right? But the fact is that not many can get there. And you have to have those CEOs in that startup who are business-minded people. And on one side, you have to have all the techo nerds. That's what I say, and I've experienced that here. So I'm just sort of supporting what you said, Giang. Yes, I know the companies you talked about, CMC, FPT, VTI, all, I know them all. Okay, it doesn't really matter, but the key point is that ever since, you know, these banks in America collapsed, Silicon Valley, First Bank, and all these banks, the VC's market got contracted. It started looking at 6 times more revenue before they gave out money. And it's where the industry is going now. People want traction, lots of traction, but the key point, traction. And you know, the actual plan. Where are you really going to be in the next 3 or 4 years? Does it fit my thinking? Because when I raise investment funds for 4 companies, and those at venture capital, Goldman Sachs Asset Management, KKR Ventures, and a few others, the first thing they looked at is team and recurring revenue and traction. That's what they're worried, that's what they're concerned about, nothing more. Anyway, that's my opinion. People may argue what I said, people may agree. It's okay, no problem.
Thank you. So, ladies. Two ladies.
I want to add on to what you both said, because you're on startup and you talked about like marketing side, the growth. I think my background is more performance psychology, and I guess when you build a company, it's more so not just the technical knowledge, because we have AI now and stuff like that, but I wanted to ask, what is the failure rate in terms of like the founders that you build at the Accelerator? But also, does these founders have the mental stamina to be able to sustain optimal performance over the long haul? Because I think that is the most important thing. So that's what I'm curious about.
What is, can say, happy, you know, when we work on the founder institute, is that we try to reduce the failure. Because without mentorship, you know, without help, surely they will be failed. The successful rate, I think, is just 0.01% percent of the founders. Because before the pandemic, we invested in a lot of founders, and we lost money. So in the founder institute, in the accelerators, we know that they can survive or not. And if they discover that, you know, their idea is not good enough, they will be, how can I say, slow a bit, you know, change their project, even spend more time, you know, to prepare for the business plan, to become a real leadership, real business leaders, as you say, and they can even defer to the next cohort, you know, to finish their learning. That's the point. So we have a rate of about 40%. Only Vietnam. Global is less, about 40% of the graduation. Last cohort, we have 46 founders who joined, and we have 20 graduates. Besides 20 graduates, we have 12 who defer to the next cohort. And the rest, they left the programs because of a lot of reasons. Either they raised the fund successfully already, so they will not join because we take equity rate. Or they discover that they are not good enough to be backed by a VC. That's a very important thing. So they left the program, become a normal SME, etc. Some just stop and be back again an executive, because they are trying to become a founders, but they know that it's too difficult, too hard. So they get back to their daily job. Yeah, that's the point. So for the another 12, we still have chance, to help them again in the next cohort. Yeah.
Now, I can supplement some statistic. According to the US statistic, among the startup, within 7 years, 80% fail. Right, within 7 years. So only 10 to 15% will continue to survive. Right? But sometimes when you become an entrepreneur, you may not, of course, everybody want the company to go IPO, become a very top company in the world. But realistically, not many will reach that stage. But some entrepreneurs, when they develop business, after some year, they may have some customer. Other company may be interested in acquiring the customer instead of your product or business model. Right? So in this situation, you can sell the company. Maybe you develop some IP, some patent, which other company may be interested. You can sell the IP and finish the company. Still, you can earn some fortune. So that means it's not only fail or success. Right? So in the middle, there are some point you can still enjoy some benefit.
Yes, my name is Betty, and I had also some very interesting path, on working. Let's call it working, right? Because business is being busy. So I've been being busy also for a while, and I've been actually at different positions. And the last 15 years, I've been already launching 3 different startups. Some of them remain being simple SMEs, which is good, and 2 of them, and 1 is coming. And just to answer to you, it's funny because I've been also investing myself in 2 different things, real estate, but also my own son, for example, that I consider as a talent, myself on different things, and also then projects. And then being also investing into initially to my startup, and now opening and recently successfully completed the second round, I think, of funding. Very huge funding, by the way, and this person has said, Betty, I just want you to be crazy and do exactly what you're good at, with no restriction. Last year, I started to read for the 3rd time a very interesting book. This is Against the Gods, written by Bernstein, and it's all about risk, right? Because we're all talking about risk right now. Either you call it an opportunity, it's basically our capacity to be tolerant, right, to risk. So there are certain people, for them, if it's not like I multiply by 20, I'm not satisfied, right? So they're reducing their expectation or augmenting the expectation because they have set for themselves a certain level. Why am I saying that? Because when we talk about data, when you say 80%, when you say 40%, 20%, 46%, how many have failed, or in the other way around, have just like changing the course of their ongoing process, right, of development, because we never know, right? Time is something very interesting also to observe. But what I would like to say here is, finally, in the modern times, we only started to calculate risk since only 150 years ago. So it is very interesting how people used to also evaluate risk in the biggest ventures that we would never even live again. We're talking about unicorns, but if you look at the Romans or the Greeks or even the Chinese, the way that they venture, right? They created like crazy things that until now we're still using. So again, it's to me why I'm putting all this context is because I'm also the tech nerd right now, studying investing on myself at the very first step, now trying to convince others to follow a certain craziness. by not looking at the same dashboard of what we used to know or believe that it is the right way to look at risk. So to me, that's the first part of the things that I would like to just put as a question, as an open also thinking. And the second thing is, the startup, and I have a very good team right now, I'm very satisfied. The startup is also working on a new field that we call sustainability. And you know, in nature, in the universe, there's nothing that is expanding forever, right? So there is a new trend also that says, what is the algorithm that is gonna permit us to bring it up, a fintech solution that shows degrowth, right? Because natural resources are not also forever. So now we are reversing a little bit the math. And my question is like, okay, so going back to the meeting when you're having a VC, right? The guy wants 20, growing his wealth, right? Call it wealth, because we can also put in equity different evaluation of wealth, right? But so we are supposed to degrow, and talking to people who only want like margins that are skyrocketing the universe. So how do we mitigate in the middle? So that's the first question. The second thing is, into startup, if you want to see scalability, but I could see also some signs also from the capital market that if now you show that the rates of your growth is something in the middle of a habit that we used to have, then you are performing the idea that you are still scalable, but sustainable. Sustainable scalability. So it's okay now to not do too much margin, right? Because it means that you have integrated also different perspective inside your business model that care about also the people that we're talking about, and maybe you want to give back, right? So in the other way around, I also suggest, startup companies also to choose wisely their investor, because managing investors' expectation every day when people they don't have the same value, and money to me is just one of the manifestation of something, but it doesn't say oh. And building a team today with now a different perspective that I want to put also into the context is the profiles. I found very lately difficult to hire youngsters that are not too fragile, that can see for themselves also some good challenges. I mean, when I just get out of the university, I was so happy, when I got my first job. I was so excited, and it was all about me, not only about me in the sense what could I afford, what could I bring as an added value to the company. Right now, I have the impression that those youngsters, man, I don't know where they have been going all this time around, but they are so fragile, very fragile. So I think in the context of creating talents, right, bringing a team, not, a team, a real team, safe, without less burden, less mental diseases, where everybody is really like feeling that something is important. I think that this is the real growth that is very difficult. We need to accompany those Gen Z that, by the way, they believe that they have created everything, when actually I'm part of the generations that we have created internet, right? So that sometimes we put into the context, I found like very interesting, this cross generation. And when the VCs are still a little bit not adapted, I believe, to this new era of talents versus risk or opportunity versus I should still show some revenue, but not too much, because we have to perform the wealthy growing, right? Not enough natural resources. So my question is, how do you mitigate all this? Because I know a lot of also, so that would be the question. The second one is towards those who carry those projects that are sometimes CEOs, sometimes innovators, and also self-funding. what would be at best, advices that you could give to people like me right now? We are many, and the third one is for yourself. Do you really believe that creating a business is only to create value and then after to let it go and then to jump another business? Because I have this impression also that nowadays people who are drafting projects, they're not mostly keen to draft also the exit for themselves. A little bit differently, I believe that part of the obstacle of you having this ability to convince VC is because profoundly and consciously you just don't want to exit. So this is really like frustrating for when it's a sweat, real sweat work. So that would be 3 questions. Thank you.
Maybe I address the young talent issue because I teach so many young students every year. The student today may be different from the young people 20, 30 years ago, right? But you cannot underestimate their ability because today they can come up with some crazy idea, but eventually some turn out to be very successful. So we have a Tech 300 program that is sometimes from time to time we try to organize some party between some established company and those startups so that they can understand each other. For those successful companies, they always look for new idea to continue the business or maybe grow the business because they have been too old. The board member may be 60, 70 years old, maybe the manager, director, 40, 50. They may have the creativity, innovation mind as those young talent. So that's for those startups, if they communicate with them, sometimes they get some idea that, this idea can be integrated into their business and then found out to be a very good match. So don't underestimate the young talent. They have their potential.
No. It's not the purpose. I mean, like for them to, they say it themselves. It's not me inventing that. They are very jumping around. It's like they get bored too easy. And I think it stems from the simple fact that they believe that they can be everywhere doing everything. So it's good when you are very young, but at some point you need also to settle yourself, because instead of just growing this general knowledge that you could have, it's also to dig deeper into a specialty and find your highest potential. And this needs a real, discipline. I think that discipline is the best way for you to perform the fact that you're free. But they are completely in the other way around. It's like, I want to be free first, and this is the best way that, of course they are super talented, but they're not gonna pursue further. So the talent will also very vanish quick. So it's just like sparks, but of course, everybody has talent, I believe.
Yeah, I was also very deep in education, but why I left, because I feel that high school is something too old. And with a high school, I cannot reach the elder students. That's why I left it. And after that, I worked with very young people in another model. I will share with you later. There's a story that I have already done with a young man, when I was in VTI, and we developed our market into Singapore. I brought together with myself 2 men. One is a unit leader. He managed 120 engineers under him. The other is just one intern. And the intern came into our university after a recruiting campaign. We tried to have more business intern, but because we are an outsourcing company, so before we have only the tech intern, So when we have a group of business intern, we try to give them more opportunities. So when I fly to Singapore, I brought them together, and you know, magically, after only about 3 meetings, he can pitch on behalf of myself already. At that moment, he was only in year 3. So after 2 years, in his graduation, he took a photo and he posted it in LinkedIn. And the BOD tried to call him and try to tell him that don't post that photo. You know why? Because when he was with us, our partners and our customers in Singapore asked his age, and he lied about his age already. Nobody can imagine that he was still student. That's the point. So that's why he cannot post, because they will know that he has already lied to them. You know. Why I told this story? The environment is important. We are open to them. They will be, you know, close to us. That's the point. They will be very supportive to us. And now I think internship is something very important, not only for startup but also for big companies. So back to my story. Together with the Founder Institute in Vietnam, we haven't just run the Founder Institute. We aware that, you know, most of the founders, they need co-founders. They're trying to find, you know, months by months, you know, but could not find the co-founders, could not find the executive people that can follow them, because they are still very small. That's the point. So we are trying to create what we call something similar to an MBA, mini MBA, right, for the founders. We call the pre-founder school, which is more academic than the Founder Institute. Because when you join Founder Institute, it is not something that you will be trained. You will be given a set of deliverables for your company to be done. You know. So it is a set of tasks, not the training programs. So that's why we create a program, a pre-founder school, to give more academic courses to the future founders. So we're trying to bring in, you know, the young talent who has a good academic performance. Even the English level is at least 7.5 IELTS points, you know, and to give them a scholarship. And before the pandemic, I used to have more than 100. I had 120 already. But before the pandemic, I ran 2 co-working space. So I have the space, you know, for physical activities for them. So after the pandemic, no co-working space anymore, you know, so we turned it into online programs. So the numbers reduce only 20 to 25 per cohort, you know, and each year we have only 1 cohort. And from that, we can provide the, you know, the very talented young co-founders to the founders in Founder Institute. So now we are trying to develop it as a startup to be, you know, to become a profitable project, and to consider Founder Institute as a market, because, you know, right, each year only Vietnam we have more than 100 startups. All around the world we have thousands of startups, and we have thousands of mentors. That is a very potential market for the pre-founders school. So now we try to ask mentors, you know, to help the founders of that project to raise a fund and to go global.
Okay, we can accept one more question. In case I don't have, because we are close to the end, right? So now pass the mic to Gary.